Hi everyone, welcome to MJS Coaching Football. Thank you for watching my channel. Really do appreciate it. Coach Sullivan here, a defensive coordinator, and I hope that your 2021 season was as successful as ours was. In this 3-4 presentation, I want to talk to you about one of our match quarters variations that we call grade 2 versus a double out concept that we call Ohio, right? Double O's. Remember, I use states to name our two-man route concepts. Right, it's a lot easier to say Ohio, and the offense has no idea what you mean. If you say hey, double up, then they know what's coming. They can even maybe change the concept. So there's a freebie, non-subscribers, and that's the only freebie for today in this presentation. So over here, I'm going to go through the key terms, help you better understand how we defend the double out concept we call Ohio out of our grade 2. And then over here, I'll bring it to life with a diagram and give you some of the nuances as to how we coach up our guys in certain situations. Okay? So the first key term itself is the surface. To us, that means the offensive line, tackle to tackle. And then when there's a tight end, the tight end's part of the surface. That the surface gives you run, pass, and direction, right? I don't know how you could be a zone football team, whether it's match quarters, cover 2, cover 3, or whatever, if your guys aren't reading the offensive line, right? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to have the surface be show and pass, hi-hat, whether it's a hard set, soft set, angle set, doesn't matter. They're showing the hi-hat pass. And so everybody involved in the coverage grade 2, with one notable exception, are all reading that offensive line and they're communicating to that one person, we've got pass. All right? So that's what this meant by the surface. The second key term, right, who are the two defenders on each side who are reading and reacting to number 2? And that's the two linebackers, both the outside, inside linebackers on both sides. This is one coverage, full field, but it operates independently because each side has a number 2. And it's not always mirrored, meaning the concept. I just do that so I can show you numerous different techniques that we have to teach versus a tight end in space, a press corner, an off corner. That's why I do that. All right. So outside linebackers and inside linebackers follow the mantra. Read number 2. He tells you what to do. Right. And so number 2 is doing the deep out, 10 plus yard out, deep out. And the double out concept, number 1, is running a shallow out at 5 yards or maybe even a little less to have some spacing, right? So that's the double out concept that we call Ohio. So the outside linebackers on both sides will initially wall number 2 because it's a vertical, and then when it breaks out, they'll cut it. And therefore, that's how we're going to be able to bracket the deep out, as you'll see with the safety. Because remember, grade 2, it's the corners and safeties are going to bracket 1 unless. And so when 1's not vertical, we're not going to bracket 1. But if 2's vertical, we're going to bracket 2. See Ohio, the double out concept, okay? So the inside linebackers, they're not going to have anything to do with 2 or 1 because neither one of them are coming inside to them. So they're going to fall back on their base grade 4 rules, right? Match quarters. Running back 2, spy the Q. Running back 2, spy the Q. And with that, we teach what's called the mirror technique. Stay tuned. That's coming in the diagram. Okay? They will be last in the diagram, the 2 inside linebackers. So then number 5, the corners are going to bump, always looking to bump, and then they'll carry, and I'll explain what carry means in the diagram, the out of number 1. Okay? And then the safeties, the last term, number 6, they're going to tempo 2, right? Surface to 2. 2's vertical, 1 isn't. They'll tempo on top, and then they're going to bracket the deep out with the outside linebacker. They'll plant and drive. They'll be on top of it, okay, with the outside linebacker underneath it. It's a high-low bracket, not an inside-outside, but a high-low, okay, because the route necessitates the high-low bracket. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to illustrate the double out concept we call Ohio in red on both sides, and then show you how we teach the defending of it in grade 2. So number 1, well, we just call it a speed out, right? It's usually it's going to be 5 yards or less. Number 2, running the deeper out with the cut being at 10 plus yards, right? Same thing over here. Most likely be less than 5 because he's off the ball a yard or so, right? And then here it is again, the deeper out at 10 plus by number 2, right? The double out concept that we call Ohio. So let's start off with the corners. All right, on this side I have a press corner so I can show you the technique we teach in press. And over here I have the corner off in their normal 7-yard position, how we teach it in the off position, okay? So I'm going to just do both corners first. So here we're in what we call our zone press. So we got outside leverage. We get the hips cocked inside so they can see the surface, boop, pass. And then if I'm on the left, I'll jam and then bump with my left. If I'm on the right, I'll jam and bump with my right. Okay, so this is signifying the jam. So what is meant by carry is we keep the receiver in front of us. Okay, so we maintain outside leverage because our help is inside, right? The initial thinking's got to be he's going vertical and my safety's inside, right? There's the bracket, inside out. So that'll be the case. When the route breaks outside, we have the corner maintain on top leverage in case it turns into an out and up. We never know. Okay, it's very unlikely this is where the quarterback will go with the football. Okay, very unlikely. It's not a good read by the quarterback if they do. Over here, the difference in the technique, when they're off, we say keep your feet hot. There are no pedals. No pedals. Just say sit and zit, sit and zit, sit and zit. And as the receiver is getting closer to you, you got to get a gauge for the speed. If you can, you get a jam and then you match the tempo. But in this case, as he's sitting and zitting, the route is likely to break off in front of him, right? So he's not going to be able to carry it with the outside leverage. So now he's just got to plant and drive. And so now we say match it, which means get outside the route. Do your best you can. Take an angle to match it. Get outside the route because that's the best you can do. So again, because the corner is sitting, the ball's not likely to go there. If it does, it's a horrible read by the quarterback. Okay? So that takes care of the 2 corners and the way we teach the technique. Now we'll go to the outside linebacker. The detached outside linebacker and the D, nothing to do with the detached. Non-subscribers, push the button. Reads that it's, pass, surface, right? He sees if he can. As we know, receivers don't run in straight lines. So we always talk about if you're able to get a jam on him, great. Disrupt the route a little bit. If not, that's kind of expected at the college level. You're looking at one's not coming in, so then now this is where the wall gets built. So the help that the outside linebacker has is outside, so they build a wall between the receiver and the quarterback, right? The opposite of carry. So they'll wall it. When the route breaks out, that's when it becomes a cut. That's the wall, then cut. So now I'm not going to get to the other side. While I'm here, the safety, surface shows pack, walk pedal, you got a vertical, one breaks off the route, stay in the walk pedal. When the route breaks outside, plant and drive, right? There's your high-low bracket on the out route. You can't be an inside-outside because it's an out route, so it's now a high-low. It's a beautiful thing. Over here, the difference in the technique for the attached outside linebacker on a tight end, he's got to add one thing, knockback. We always get a fistful of tight end. We love and we are very good at knocking back tight ends and getting fistful of tight end. Jersey, right? So he's the guy that's not really looking at the surface because he's locked on the tight end, but everybody around him is screaming pass, plus the tight end is getting his butt out of there because he's the vertical part of the route. So with that, boom, right? There's the knockback. As he begins to wall, has to get his eyes to one. One's not coming to him, so he continues the wall. Same as the other outside backer. When the route breaks out, he cuts it. This safety, right? Surface pass, walk pedal, eyes to one, not vertical. Plant and drive, high, low bracket on that deep out, right? It's beautiful. So where they should go with the football is where the bracket is. Just following the simple rules of our grade 2 match quarters variation. Okay? So as promised, last but not least, the inside linebackers. Okay? Their surface keys show pass. They pivot. Two's not to them, one's not to them. They pivot back. This is when it becomes running back 2, spy the Q. All right, running back 2, spy the Q. So what will happen is, if it's a 6-man protection, probably will be with a possibility of a check release. Okay, he now key rushes, which means he becomes the fourth and makes it a 4-man rush. Right, 1, 2, 3. Running back to him in protection. He adds to the rush. Now it's plus, right? He adds, so now it's a 4-man rush. If it's a check release, he goes to what we say, hug him up. He's in the backfield, go hug him up, baby. All right, he's got the running back. Bottom line is running backs 2. There's your key now. If he's protection, add to the rush. If he's in a route, go cover it. So when the running back's away, you spy, and the technique we teach is mirror. So what that means is, if the quarterback's here, you set up there, so when the quarterback looks in front of him, he sees you in the mirror. Simple as that. Quarterback moves here, you move there. So the quarterback looks downfield, he's looking at you in the mirror. So it's just a little mnemonic device to emphasize wherever the quarterback is, you be right across from him. And you're spying him, obviously, but you can spy him and he can be a little bit over there. No. Wherever he is, you're looking right across from him. Okay? So that's quite an important nuance to teach whoever you're spying inside linebacker is. So as I said at the beginning, thank you for watching MJS Coaching Football. I really do appreciate it. For subscribers and non-subscribers alike, please reach out to me at CoachMJSullivan@gmail.com because I would love to talk football with you.